ready, guys?
Ready? Anything else?
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, our players just got back today. Obviously had a good break. Big bowl win against an in-state opponent, so that made an even better break. You know, you look at this past year, we talked about laying a foundation, and I truly believe that we did that this past year. And then have a bowl win, have some momentum. We've got 4 young men coming back that could have went to NFL. That's always very important, you know, in the big picture of things. And just going to talk briefly about each one of them. But Isaiah Bowser, you know, original plan was to come here for 1 year, go to the NFL. Obviously, he had some injuries. We talked at length over the break, and he strongly considered it, and he chose to come back. And you know, I've been real blessed to coach 2 Doak Walker Award winners. He's in that same kind of category. We'll see what happens, but obviously that's a huge impact for us coming back with that. Sam Jackson, our offensive tackle, played a lot of football. He's one of our team leaders, and anytime that you have a team leader coming back, you know, he could have played in the NFL, chose to come back. Just a lot of stability up front, and like I said, leadership is huge. And Anthony Maltavo, you know, defensive tackle, defensive end, another one of our team leaders, played a lot of football. Just as far as the leadership goes and everything that goes with it. And I'll say this, like, we had a lot of ups and downs throughout the year, and how we hung in there and finished strong was our leadership. And these guys had a big part of that. Alex Ward, our deep snapper, he was up for the National Deep Snapper of the Year Award. He's one of the best in the country. He actually had a Senior Bowl invite, the Reese Senior Bowl invite, and chose to come back. And you know, he is also a leader of the special, not just special, but a team leader. And all 4 of these guys, I mean, really, they will be the leaders of the team this coming year, and we'll be in great hands in that aspect. Okay, so what I was planning on doing is having each one of these guys come up and kind of tell you why they chose to come back, and then feel free to ask any questions. And I'll come up back at the end if you got any questions for me. Okay. All right. Okay. You know, I think for me, you know, just listen to those guys. You know, that got guys that won championships, multiple championships here, and just from a head coach's standpoint, having leaders like that, and they're all talking about, you know, part of their decisions to come back to do something special next year. So that's we're off to a good start, and glad to have these guys back. All right, is there any other questions?
You kind of briefly talking about those guys. The fact that Bowser comes back, when we all saw what this offense looked like when he was healthy, just knowing you have him and returning most players offensively and supplementing that talent with recruiting and transfers, how excited for you over your vision of what an offense should look like?
Yeah, it was really big. I think it was pretty easy to see when he was healthy. You know, we were really a very, very strong offense. So, you know, he's a game changer. There's no doubt about that.
Alex just mentioned, you know, if he does the job right, you really should know who he is. You know, if he does something wrong, everyone knows about the long snapper, you know, snapping the ball over the head of the punter, whatever.
Yeah.
But how impressed are you with his play?
Yeah, you know, that's a spot that for a lot of times people don't think about unless you don't have one. And you know, the unique thing about Alex is he's one of our team leaders too, which is really rare from a deep snapper. And he's got a great personality. He's a team first guy. You know, I don't know how many people that's turned down an invitation to play in the Reese Senior Bowl, but I'm going to bet you could probably count them on one hand. You know, but he loves this place and wants to come back for one more year. And like I said, he'll be one of our team leaders.
Sam Jackson coming back. He's a versatile player. He's pretty much played across the board.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for him specifically, whether it's right tackle, left tackle, or you just happy to have him?
You know, he has the flexibility, which will really be great at the next level. He can play all positions. Matter of fact, Coach Hand, you know, had him in bowl practice playing center too. I mean, so, you know, he can play all positions. He is one of those guys that's just, you know, the stability. Like, I mean, he's just one of our overall team leaders. When he talks, everyone listens. You know, he's won championships here. He knows what it takes, and he's got a great football IQ. You know, you can move him anywhere, and he knows exactly what to do. I mean, so that was huge in the big picture having him back.
Since we last talked, you hired Chip Lindsey to be offensive coordinator, quarterback coach.
Yeah.
What does he bring to the staff?
Yeah, Chip is a guy that you know, I know well. He knows me well. He's a great quarterback developer. I mean, he really is really strong in that area. He's a guy that actually recruited Philip Lussenkirchen, played tight end for me at Auburn. Is a great player. We won the national championship. That's how we got to know each other. And he just had something special to him. So, when I've got the head job at Auburn, I hired him off the field to be really my right-hand man, head coach's analyst, and that's a year that we almost won the national championship. And he moves on to Southern Miss, went straight to be an offense coordinator after that, had a really good 2 years there, and then he went to be the OC at Arizona State and did very well, and then obviously came back to me in 2017. We were really good on offense and really close to winning. We won the SEC West, but we won together. He's been the head coach at Troy the last 3 years, and so it'll be really good for me. I'm still going to call plays, but he's going to assist me, and we're real blessed to have him.
We're all kind of learning how the new recruiting calendar works. You got high school recruiting, and maybe now it's transfer recruiting when we get to late December, early January. I know you made some early additions. I know you're not done yet. How pleased are you with the early haul of some of these transfers you've been doing?
Yeah, the game's changed. I mean, with the portal, it's just changed everything. And, you lose a few players, and roster management is so important, and you got to replace them and add. And I've said this before, I just think this is such an attractive place for transfers. And now that it's the new norm, if we handle it right, it could be a huge advantage for us.
How great was it to get some of your early enrollees on campus just moved in?
Yeah, really good. To go through spring, and so we just had our first team meeting, about 45 minutes ago. It was great to see those new faces, introduce them to the team, and so it feels really good.
Can you talk about specific names yet, transfer-wise?
Not yet.
Okay,
not yet, but we're real close. And what we'll do is we'll have a presser here in the near future with all that, because it's changing. I think you see that around college football.
So just how crazy is this process like? Because you got school starting tomorrow, and you got transfers making decisions. Is there like a deadline for when guys can get enrolled, or is that kind of something you're dealing with as well?
I think most places around the country, it's usually a few days after school starts. So there's, like I said, we had official visits this weekend, and which that's new for this time of year during the coaches convention. But with the changes, that's just part of it. So pretty interesting time.
How much has the Florida win helped on the recruiting trail, whether high school, 2023, 24, and the transfers? The Florida win.
How's the Florida?
How much has it helped? I guess, or how
helped?
Yeah.
I don't know if
is it something you talk about? Or?
Yeah, I think you just got managing your roster. If you lose players, you've got to replace players, and I think a challenge for a lot of programs is going to be going through spring. Do you have enough at each position to go through spring to have a full spring? I think that's going to be the challenge for a lot of programs, as far as that goes. And so, is it good? I think it's just something that, whoever manages the roster the best is going to have an advantage. So hopefully we'll be one of those.
I know recruiting is, a multi-year process. I know you've got a big event here later in the month. Social media guys are tweeting out the Hometown Hero event.
Mm-hmm.
The fact you beat Florida at the Gasparilla Bowl, what kind of buzz have you gotten from that win as you kind of look to recruit these 23s and beyond?
Yeah, that's really big in the big pictures, and obviously a big win. And since I've been here, some of the other logos in the state. It's been tough to compete against, but it's a new day in college football. The landscape in college football is changing on a weekly basis, and I said this when I first got here, that this is the program of the future, and we're changing the narrative in this state. We're going to continue to do nothing but move up. But to answer your question, it is easier to recruit, specifically the young guys, and they know what's going to happen here, and so it's been real exciting from that standpoint. Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.